I hope you guys don't hate Quartzsite. I got a whole list here of things I gathered from different comments that I got on some of our videos. A lot of videos from Quartzsite lately. There's still people here in Quartzsite, and me and the dogs, we're one of the crazy people that are left. There's Echo back there. Quartzsite's known as the meeting place. I just wanted to put that out there. But there's a lot of things that people have been telling me they hate, and I got some comments. Let me read one of the comments. Like this comment, like you get 100 good comments as a YouTube creator, and then you get one bad one, and it's like sticks with you. And I'm pretty good at it, but I'm kind of a wimp about this stuff too. Like I've been thinking about this one, and you know, I really appreciate that this person left this comment. But here, let me read it. This is most of it anyway. This is from Travel Frog. This is just like a couple days ago. He says, I really liked your channel, but 2 months in the same spot in Quartzsite? Sorry to say, but I'm not interested anymore. Your technical stuff is just not there. Yeah, he's right about that, you know? And he's right about everything that he said in his comment. And he says, so sorry, I am going to unsubscribe. And, you know, more power to you, Travel Frog. Like, you know, you should absolutely unsubscribe from channels that bore you. Like, it's kind of our job in a sense, like to keep you entertained, and you know, we kind of do that in different ways. My philosophy is like I just kind of do what I do, and yeah, I'm here in Quartzsite, and I've been here for a couple months now, and it might be boring to some people, it might even be boring to me, it might be boring to other people, and that's just kind of what you get. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Like change my life for YouTube and like go, you know, go search out like amazing places just because I feel like people are going to get bored of Quartzsite? It's easier for me, and I feel like it's more honest as a YouTube creator to do what I do in this lifestyle for myself, and then I kind of share what I can, what I'm able to record, and what I want to when I feel like it. So you see the reality. Like I'm a full-time nomad. I put on my nice shirt today, actually. I haven't worn this shirt at all, so you can see it's like bright white. This thing, I mean, it's brand new. Never worn it at all. Never washed it. But yeah, I don't usually look like this. I'm usually pretty dirty. Actually, I am pretty dirty right now. I couldn't take a shower today because I'm working on my leaky tank. I got a leak in my tank. All right, anyways, so Travel Frog's right. Like, if, you know, Quartzsite is boring for some people. Some people hate it. Some people come here and they're just here for like 2 weeks or something like that, and then they leave. Or they might just be here for a few days and travel through. That's actually what I used to do. And okay, so, and the technical stuff I show on the channel, it's true. Like you kind of have to be a man of all trades, like kind of, you know, working on the truck, working on the trailer, working with the dogs, working about like new campsites, how to find new campsites and all that stuff. I'm just one person. Like I'm the only person here. And so, yeah, I make tons of mistakes and I do lots of stupid stuff. Truth and Justice. One of the secrets to your show is that there are thousands and thousands of people who wish they could live your life. Yeah, I mean, I definitely do notice that. That's from Truth and Justice. That's kind of one of the things I'm trying to show on this channel is like, there's a different way to live, and this is how we live, and you might take something from it. Like I always say, I don't recommend anybody be a full-time nomad, but I hope people get the little bit of inspiration to go get out and go camping and go explore, hike, whatever you can do or whatever you want to do at your own pace. Because a lot of people, you know, kind of stuck inside. We're, you know, on our phones or watching a lot of TV or playing video games. Man, that's a big time suck. I have a PlayStation in here, but I never play video games on it. I've been getting an itch lately to play Grand Theft Auto. But last time I played it in the trailer was like probably 2 years ago. And you're just driving around and it's like, that's what I do. That's how I live. It's like I drive around to places. And in the game, I'm like driving around in these hills and mountains. And I'm like, that's like my real life. Like it's kind of not as fun in this weird way to play video games. So yeah, people are saying it's boring in Quartzsite. What do you guys think? Do you guys think Quartzsite is boring? There's some bad things about Quartzsite. The water here, people complain about it. The thing is, for me, like, it's fine. It is salty. It has a high salt content in it. Supposedly, the Bureau of Land Management tests it. I think I think once a month or something. They test it fairly regularly, so it should be safe. Hey, Scotty P. Oh, I got a special message for you, Scotty P. We'll talk about that later in this stream. But what I do is I don't put any salt on my food. So I have salt right here. You can see my spice rack right there. And I have salt, but I just don't put it on my food when I'm in Quartzsite. So I get plenty of salt from the water. For me, the water is not a problem. Like it tastes fine. But it does, you know, it has its own quartzite taste. So the other thing is it's dirty and dusty. And like today, you know, it's super hot out and wind comes up and it's just bone dry out here and you get a lot of dust. This guy, Jason RW, he made an interesting comment, and I can tell he was kind of passionate about it. He says, "Is there no other place to stay but in the desert? What about your lungs, man? Also, it's very boring out there." I don't get it. So that's totally fair, Jason. And if you watch some of our videos, you'll see that like I do camp in some places that aren't really considered like epic or super exciting for a lot of people, I guess. You know, there's this one place I stay. It's an old World War II training camp. So it's back in the 40s. They built a few structures and things. There's not much to see. It's pretty much just flat desert and then mountains off in the distance. There's some washes and stuff like that. But for me, it's like, I love that. I love big open spaces. And then I love to be up in the woods where there's mountains and stuff like that. I like the contrast and I vibe on that. I dig that kind of stuff, the differences in the different places. So for me, being in the desert it's like surrounded by trees, like Palo Verde trees are all spiky and pointy. You know, there's not hardly any leaves on them. Saguaro cactus, barrel cactus, and like tons of, there'll be sagebrush and creosote bushes. Creosote bush is like my favorite plant, but people just walk by it all the time. It's everywhere. It's just kind of, there's different strokes for different folks. That's what it is. It is dirty and it is dusty. We get a lot of dust in the trailer. You can kind of see here, like on my screens. Does that show up? Oh yeah, you can see that. Look at that. See how I wipe it off there? And then anything that's like a level surface here will be, let's see. Let's do a test. You can kind of see that a little bit. It's dusty. Yeah, everything is dusty. Inside the trailer, oh here, I'm going to rub the windowsill. Yeah. That'll give you a good, see, that's just from like 10 inches on the windowsill. I got all that dust there. So it is dusty, but as a nomad, like full time, like I live traveling full time. I don't stay at RV parks. I don't plug in. I'm run off of solar power. So I need sun. I need to be in like fairly sunny places. And I'm in the outdoors. We get dirt in here. You know, if I'm up in the Northwest, we get mud and all kinds of different bugs will come in. It's just something you deal with. And for me, it's like, it's invigorating. Like I like it. I really enjoy it. There are definitely like ups and downs. And there's things that I don't like, but I put up with it. I find ways to mitigate it. Here's one example. I got this bug zapper. You guys have seen this before. And so I noticed some bugs have been coming in the trailer since it's been getting hot here. So I've been charging this thing up and I hang this up and it solves my bug problem. It's pretty amazing. It's like 15 bucks and so my bug problem is solved. So you come up with these solutions, things that are important to different types of nomads, different people living in RVs or vans and stuff like that. And you find ways to like mitigate that stuff. So and he's talking, he's like, what about your lungs, man? So yeah, it is dry, it's dry air, you know, but I mean, it's just different. Wherever you go, it's going to be different. Like for me, it's like, I would say like, he's like, move on. I don't get it. I would say Jason probably doesn't travel that much. So he's probably sitting at home watching our videos and he's like, crap, I would never want to go like out in the desert here where this guy is. Like it's ugly, it's all dry, there's like no animals, there's not even any birds right now. Actually, there's the crows have just started coming here, the lizards are just starting to come out, but there's like no life up until like this point. So for somebody that's like watching from home, you're gonna be able to kind of pick and choose and be like, oh, I would want to go there, but I wouldn't want to go there. And that's what I do too. Actually, I pick and choose. I go where I want. And for me, Quartzsite, it doesn't suck. Like I dig it. I actually really dig Quartzsite. I honestly like I am kind of getting a little bit not bored of it, but sort of too used to it. Like I have that nomadic urge now kicking up inside me, and that feels really good to be like, oh, I can't wait to get back on the road. So once I get a few things done, fixing up the trailer, getting tires on the truck, getting squared away, then we're gonna hit the road and we're gonna be traveling. You know, who knows where, but probably the mountains, probably the trees. That's what's cool about this lifestyle. All right, so yeah, lots of people say it's boring. Like I hear that all the time. It's so boring. And there's a huge RV show, which is why Quartzsite is so popular in the wintertime. I mean, it's a humongous show. I did hear people saying they didn't really like the RV show this year, and I didn't go because actually I got sick, so I didn't make it to the RV show. But you know, those things aren't for everybody either. And I guess what this kind of boils down to is it's like we're traveling. Of course, we're going to be in places that are not appealing to certain people or instances, right? Like we're in this trailer. Like somebody could be living in a van. There's great channels. Watch Emma and Bus. She lives in like I think it's like an SUV. It's not even a van, like a minivan. And so some people are going to watch that kind of stuff and they're going to be like, oh, I would never want to do that. That girl's crazy. And I mean, she probably kind of is. Just like me. It's like we do things that are really weird. Like we live in this trailer. There's people that would think, I don't want to live in a trailer. If I did have a trailer, I'd have like a fifth wheel, something big with slide outs and like separate rooms and like an island in the kitchen. So and you can do that if you want to do that. You're gonna be I feel like you're gonna be over encumbered with like repairs and like trying to haul something big down these like sketchy dirt roads. But you know you can still do that. All right, so yeah, we talked about this place being desolate and ugly. Some people say it's ugly. And I mean, it is. If a rain comes, then the greenness comes out, all the leaves and stuff, all the rocks get cleaned off, and it does look a little bit brighter. It's kind of nice. There's also some kind of like sketchy wildlife: rattlesnakes, scorpions, and coyotes. And in fact, Echo chased something a couple nights ago. I don't know what it was, but it was pretty fast. He ended up only going about maybe a quarter mile. He's got a tracker, so I pulled out my phone. I could see where he was going, but I basically went after him. He came right back to camp pretty quickly. It was probably a coyote or a fox. There's also foxes out here, so you do have to deal with those kinds of things because rattlers will kill you, scorpions will sting you, and they hurt. There's also tarantulas and there's also bees. I think bees is one of the scariest things out here because there's crazy bee swarms out here. But it's like that wherever you go. You're going to be worried in different areas. You're going to be worried about mountain lions or bears or a tree falling on you. It's like that's just what nature is. You know, if you want to be super safe, be inside your apartment or inside your house, and then you know hope somebody doesn't break in and, and rob you. Like if you live in the city or whatever. Like, I mean, those places can get sketchy. Yeah, cities like kind of sketch me out now. I mean, I've lived in the city for like 20 years, like in the heart of the city, so I know what city life is like. And at the time, you know, I wasn't. It was kind of grossing me out, starting to gross me out, but I wasn't ever really scared. But if you really think about it, it's like, ooh, if you go out at the wrong time, or you dress the wrong way, or you look a certain way, or you don't behave in the right manner, then it can be sketchy. Groceries. Groceries in Quartzsite are more expensive and lower quality. The next video that comes out, you'll see me go into the Dollar General market and you can kind of see what kind of stuff they have in there. And I got eggs. What do you guys think I paid for a dozen eggs at the Dollar General market? I went to the Coyote Market, which is a decent grocery store. You can find pretty much anything you want in Quartzsite, but generally you're going to pay a little bit more. And especially on groceries, you're going to see like increased prices. There are some cheap places where you can get like expired food. A lot of processed food is pretty cheap in Quartzsite. You can find it pretty cheap. But if you want like fresh stuff, then you're going to pay up. There's not like a big grocery store. There's not like a Safeway or Albertsons or anything like that. Debbie's guess is $9. Well, I'm glad you said that, Debbie. Because I thought I paid a lot, and I mean I did. I'm used to paying like, $3.50 or maybe $4 at Walmart for a dozen eggs, and then if you go to Costco, you can get 2 dozen eggs for, I don't know what it is, but it's really cheap. I think it's like $7 or something like that. But right now, I don't know what the price is. I haven't been to Costco in a while. Slow Bo. Is Slow Bo, is that Bo? That must be Bo. Because he says, have you been out finding any crystals? Actually, I went out with a couple subscribers a few days ago, and I shot a little bit of video there. You'll see that. And hopefully we'll get to go out again, and I'm going to find some really good crystals. I did find, actually, we didn't find any crystals. But it was still fun. I got a lot of sun. I got to see like a kind of a cool area of quartzsite. There's areas of quartzsite that I've never been to. So it's like all these little things that are still here. So next time I come back, there's all kinds of other places I can explore. It's kind of a cool thing. If you don't think the desert is ugly and boring. The crowds, that's a big thing. Hey, Bo. Oh, yeah, Bo gave me these TPMS tire pressure sensors for I'm gonna put them on my trailer. I'm gonna put that in a video. I'm pretty excited about that. I'm waiting to get tires on the truck before I mess around with that. But that's gonna be kind of cool. So people talk about the crowds. This place, Quartzsite, is super crowded. It's like crazy, crazy crowded. You go to the RV parks, it's gonna be hard to get a spot, even at some of the kind of dumpier places. Hassler's RV Park, that's my favorite one. Actually, I've only stayed at a couple here, but Hassler's RV Park, it's one of the cheapest places. It's a little run down, but they got good electricity, good water, and it's safe. I felt safe there. But it's packed during the main season. Out here in the LTVA areas, which is the long-term visitor area where you have to have a permit, it's like a 7-month permit, it's packed. So you have to hunt around for a spot that doesn't have too many people nearby. Some people will be like super, super close, especially near the entrances of the camp areas. And if you guys have seen my videos, like, I'm not really big on like socializing with people, or especially camping near people. Like, I do not want to be camped near people, especially if I have to hear them or their dogs are running around. But just like music and even like campfire smoke, like if they do it every night, like that can get kind of annoying. Then you got to deal with lights, and then some people leave their light on their rig, and that can be annoying. People have like noisy ATVs and side-by-sides, things like that. So you have to deal with that, and that creates a lot of dust. So I like to be pretty far separated from people. And when you go out to these other camping areas, not around here in Quartzsite, you can usually separate yourself pretty well. Going up mountain roads, forest roads, just keep driving, find a place where there's not people around. You can set up camp, and chances are nobody's going to camp right near you. Here at the LTVA, if you camp somewhere, you're kind of just crossing your fingers and hoping that nobody comes and camps near you. And it will happen. People will camp fairly near you. This year, and in fact last year, people did come and camp kind of close to me when I felt like I was really separated. But they were only there for a couple of days, and so it's not that big of a deal. And the other thing is, a lot of people here in Quartzsite they're older, like they're older than me. So they're not like super noisy, they're not really loud. So for me, I was surprised. Like, I never wanted to stay here in the LTVA, in the LTVAs either. Hey, Random Spirit, I'm glad to see you. Looks like you're a moderator still, so that's really cool. I'm glad. Well, I was messing around with moderators, and there's this other level I can set you at, and then it helps more or something. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but someday I'll figure it out. Let's see. So for somebody like me, I do not like to camp near people. I got dogs, and we like to be separated. We just like to explore nature. I'm happy if I don't see anybody for 2 weeks. Like, I don't see anybody. if I can be away from a road, like the main road, and I don't see anybody, there's places I go where nobody will drive by for weeks, a couple weeks. That's the kind of thing I love. So if I'm that kind of person, if I'm that kind of camper that likes to be separated from people, and yet I feel really comfortable in an area that has like this huge congregation of people, and if I feel comfortable here, then I'm just saying, like, your perception might be wrong that it's too crowded for you to enjoy it. Because I enjoy it. I find places in the LTVAs that are separated from people. You can do it. You can find little secret little places. I have some good places. I'm not going to give them away. But basically, you just drive out, get into the LTVA, and then just drive as far as you can. The further you drive, then the less people are going to be out there generally. Noisy parties. Okay. Where I'm camped right now, there's not really anybody real close to me. I could, if I screamed or whatever, someone would hear me. There's probably like 3 campers that would hear me if I screamed, like if that gives you an idea. But there are some noisy parties, and the thing is, there's quiet hours, which is 10 o'clock. And I'll tell you what, everybody shuts off their music. They stop partying at 10 o'clock. You won't hear a peep after 10 o'clock. It's crazy. You might hear generators because people can run their generators. But that's usually in the colder time of the year when people are using their generators more. But I mean loud parties. I mean, there's a party tent over there it's probably as big as a house. Like it's 4 party tents like stuck together, and it's just booming, boom, boom, boom. And I get this like instant, like, I'm like, oh, what is that music? Because you can just feel the bass. And inside the trailer, it's louder than outside. It just echoes. And so it does kind of annoy me, but it's only like maybe once a week, maybe twice a week for, like I said, just a few hours. Then at 10 o'clock, they cut it off. So it's not that big of a deal. The thing is, in the desert, sound travels really far. So this big party tent it's at least a quarter mile away. It's probably further, probably a quarter mile away. Maybe a third of a mile. But it's, the sound travels. They do have a big bumping system there too. There's a couple other places too that are known for having like really loud parties. Sometimes they'll do like big campfires. So there'll be people like singing or playing guitars and drums, like drum circle kind of thing. For me, like, I dig it because it's random enough and it's groups of people having fun rather than just like, the family going out for the weekend and then they'll crank up their radio or whatever. They'll be playing like, top 10 or rap music or something like that. That kind of stuff. Oh, that bugs me. Like, I do not want to hear that. So out here, it's like nomads. It's like people that are having a good time. And so you can hear that in the background. You can go over there a lot of times and hang out too if you want. So I don't know, it's cool. It's a cool vibe. It's like, it can be loud. Like if you were camped right next to them, you'd be like, oh crap, we're moving in the morning. Or you might even move that night. Be like, this is crazy. So you do have to kind of be aware of like where the noise is going to come from, and then don't camp too close to those people. Another thing I've heard people complaining about is dogs running around. And actually, I've heard a lot of people say that. I have experienced that. In fact, you guys have seen Dodger in our videos. And Dodger, this was a couple years ago. Dodger, usually, I don't tie him up in camp, usually. Because he doesn't go far. You can see he's old. He doesn't move that fast. But every once in a while, he's not going to do it. He's not going to hurt anybody or do anything bad. I guess he was exploring. Oh, there were dogs running around like 2 camps over. So a fairly good distance, probably like half a football field, something like that. And there were dogs running around, and they had come over to our camp kind of close. And Echo, he'll usually be on his lead in camp because he can be kind of a scary dog. He's super friendly, but I get it. Like somebody doesn't know him, they could be scared by him. So I usually keep him tied up in camp. So these dogs came around, and Dodger ended up going over to their camp. And when he was over there in their camp, I looked at a distance, and those dogs were kind of getting aggressive with Dodger. Dodger's like super friendly. I mean, he would bite or whatever, but he, only to defend himself. And I was running over there. I was like to get my dog, and this dog, it was like a pit bull, basically. Yeah, it was like one of those big, beefy, like more scary looking than Echo even. And it grabbed Dodger by the scruff and flipped him over on his back. And Dodger didn't yelp. And Dodger got up real quick, starts wagging, and he just kind of comes trotting back to camp. So I knew Dodger wasn't hurt. I was like, okay, that dog was just flipping Dodger over, like saying, get out of my camp. He wasn't trying to like kill Dodger, luckily. But I could see how if people are letting their dogs run around, and those dogs were going back and forth around in different camps, and you really shouldn't do that. Like I said, like I shouldn't have let Dodger go over into their camp either. So that that was my mistake. So I mean, it does happen. Here, actually, in fact, I think it was yesterday, I was outside with Mr. Echo, and he was tied up. I saw this dog that I hadn't seen before come trotting around pretty near our camp, and there's nobody around. And the dog came close. Echo let out like a bark, to scare that dog away, and that dog backed out away from our camp. But that dog was basically coming right into our camp. It wouldn't have been a problem because I think the dog was probably friendly. So what I would say is, yes, I have seen a few dogs running around, but they're basically just a couple camps over is where they're coming from. They're not like wild dogs. I haven't seen any wild dogs. Supposedly there are like wild packs of dogs that do roam around occasionally. I haven't seen those. But the dogs that I have seen from other camps, they tend to be, they're not mean. They're, for whatever reason, they're kind of friendly. They're just investigating. All right, you guys, this is a good time for me to ask you guys, hit that thumbs up button. Start giving me your questions. Tell me what you hate about Quartzsite, or like what you don't like about our Quartzsite videos. Like, is it boring? Is there something you want to see in Quartzsite that I haven't shown you in our videos? Things that you personally don't like about Quartzsite if you're familiar with the area or if you're camped here right now. Julio says it's too dusty. Well, I talked about that. People say that all the time. For me, since I travel around, this is definitely not the dustiest place. Go look at my Burning Man videos. Like, you want to see dusty, like, that's dusty. So anything below that is like, oh, it's easy peasy. I mean, Burning Man's just crazy. It's all dust. It's crazy. I mean, I was coated in dust. Dust is blowing into your living space all the time. You're absolutely coated. But the other areas where I camp, it's definitely dustier. If you're in Quartzsite, as long as you camp away from the main roads, then you're not going to have to deal with dust nearly as much. There's still going to be like dust storms kind of blowing through every once in a while, like maybe a few times a month, that kind of thing. It's not really that regular, but it does happen. It's guaranteed to happen if you camp out here. In fact, like, one thing I learned was when you go get water at the water station, like today it was really hot, so I had my windows down. I get to the water station and you want to leave your windows down. You're like, oh, when I get back in the truck, I don't want it to be all hot in here because it was super hot out. But what happens is you go back into your rig, or you go back outside your rig and start filling up your water tanks, and then a huge dust cloud will come blowing in. It'll just go right through your windows, so you have to keep your windows rolled up, basically. Random Spirit. Oh, this is Julio. Vegas trip. Talking about Hassler's. Yeah, Hassler's RV Park. I did a video about it. It's actually a really popular video on our channel. And I'm really glad because I spent a lot of time on it. There's a lot of me talking in it, but there's a lot of good footage to show you, like, why I think Hassler's RV Park is super cool. And I just drove by there yesterday. I was thinking, man, I wish I had a reason to stay there because it's just like this eclectic place. The people that are staying there, there's definitely some sketchy people there, but there's also really, really friendly, nice people. Shout out to Abner at Hassler's RV Park if you're watching, Abner. All right, so eggs. What do you guys think I paid for the eggs? Someone guessed $9. I'll tell you, I paid $8. I went to Coyote Market today, and they were selling eggs for $10 for a dozen. So I paid $8, and I thought that was a lot, but I didn't mind in a sense because it's a high protein food. Like you're getting your money's worth in that sense, right? Like someone could spend $8 on like a couple bags of potato chips. And then it's like, oh, what's that doing for you? Well, it's just making you fat, sick, and it's not good for you. It doesn't provide any nutrition. But if you spend $8 on eggs or avocados or like some spinach or, you know, some fruits and vegetables, that kind of thing, even like frozen fruit, that kind of thing, then you're kind of starting to get your money's worth, right? You're actually doing something good for your body. And so the money, the higher cost, it doesn't hurt as much. That's what I was telling myself. I'm going to go to Walmart in a few days and we'll see what the egg prices are there. It's boring. Everybody says Quartzsite's boring. The thing is, like, if you're used to going to like a national park where they have like these really amazing trails and they'll have like guided tours, they'll have like a museum, they'll have a gift shop, they'll have a little grocery store. If you come out to Quartzsite, it's just like there's kind of nothing. You know, I'm not talking about the town, but the camping area. But as a boondocker, like a full-time boondocker, I'm so used to that. It's like it's nothing to me. I'm like, of course it's boring. That's what I want. Like that's what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for peace and quiet, safety, simplicity, and some sort of sense of like I can go get supplies if I need to. And sometimes that means driving 20 or maybe even 30 miles away. And I'm kind of okay with that. Like that's kind of fine with me. Like if I need propane or water, or if I run out of food, or I need something for the dogs or whatever, then I like to have a place I can go to resupply. That's fairly nearby. And that's what this place provides. And really, that's what most of the places where we camp that you see in our videos that are maybe more epic or more beautiful, those places are the same to me. It's like, they're boring if you hate being outside. The Quartzsite is boring if you hate the outdoors. If you like the outdoors, if you like sun in the morning, you get the full sunrise, you get the full sunset. It's like all to myself. If you like seeing, you know, as the months go on, different animals come out or different plants start to come about, the weather starts to change. If you like that, it's all about nature. And if you're boondocking, I mean, you gotta love nature, because you're gonna be, even if you're like, say you're in the mountains where it's really pretty and there's lots of animals and maybe there's like a stream. That's all there is. It's just nature. It's just endless nature. If nature bores you, then you're going to be bored as a boondocker, and you're going to be really bored in Quartzsite if you come to the LTVA here. Random Spirit bought eggs for $4.50 for 18. Well, that's a good deal. Hi from Montana. GR Top under the big sky. Random Spirit, that's what hobbies are for. Yeah, actually a lot of people do that out here. There's a game store in town where you can get all kinds of games, cards, and stuff like that. Quartzsite's known as the meeting place. Lots of people like to play like different kind of games out here, so you can always do that. And then yeah, if you have hobbies, you want to sit outside and do your hobbies. I'm mostly just working on stuff, like trying to fix stuff. Oh, you guys can see like if there's a few bugs coming in now. I haven't had any bug problems. Like I've been able to leave the screen door open like all night if I want. But now that it's getting hotter, the bugs are starting to come out. And honestly, I don't know what the deal is with my bug zapper, but it's not, I don't know if it's not charging. This thing might be going tits up. I hope not. If it does, I'm buying another one. Now, if I plug it in, which I can't show you because the cable's not long enough, but if I plug it in, it lights up. So now it's on, so if any bugs fly right down here, they'll get zapped. How far to the nearest hospital? That's a good question. I should probably look that up. I don't know. I know where the vet is, and the vet where I take the dogs is across the border in California. It's about a half-hour drive to get to the vet. Slowbo, thanks for the super chat. Oh, that's super nice. Okay, I can give it a heart. That's your first super chat on YouTube, it tells me right here. Did you get your solar situation taken care of? Yeah, right.
No, I didn't. I hope we go out again. I'm gonna be getting tires. I still haven't ordered it yet, but probably in the next few days I'm gonna be driving like an hour and a half to go get my tires put on. But after that, maybe like next week, then we can go out crystal hunting. Cause I want to find some good crystals. Cause I got to put that in the video that I'm working on to show like, oh, you can find awesome stuff in quartzite. Speaking of hobbies, like yeah, if you want to do crystal hunting or gem hunting, then there's a lot of cool stuff. There's so much stuff I don't know about. To me, I'm just like, whoa, that's neat looking. Like I don't really know what it is. Oh, let me get my crystals. I'll show you.